Live from Germany. Here I am back after our longest break in the history of this show with Doug and Steven handling it for us on what was that? That was Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then we had a little break for Thanksgiving, for Black Friday, for the whole weekend, and now we are back. So I'm looking forward to this and hoping everything functions properly here. I noticed that my microphone sound is very much more bass heavy than it used to be. There's Doug, and he
Matt,
appears sad. Peekaboo, what's going on, Doug?
it's so glad to see your beautiful face again, Matt.
Yeah, you're happy. Well, good.
I
I'm
I
glad.
am absolutely happy. I was getting an echo. Did you turn that off?
Yeah, I fixed it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Um,
Uh,
and Steven stepped up. He did awesome. It was a wonderful show, and I was so glad to have his support there. But it's been 4 days. It's been the longest we've gone without talking in like months. So I don't even know what's
yeah,
going on with you anymore.
I know it feels weird because you're right. It's been that amount of time, and even the shows we have done hasn't quite. It just hasn't felt the same, Doug. I've been discombobulated and short shows
Hmm.
and all this stuff, time zones. But you're right. We're it's okay. We're just rocky time. We're getting through it. We have one more week of this, then we'll be back to normal. I promise. I did get a chuckle. Holden and I listened to the show that you and Steven did. We listened to it, I think, on Thanksgiving Day, the day after you did it. Uh,
Okay.
and I love that in the very first part you said, "I am not Doug Hay" or something, something like that. It was like your first line.
Yeah.
And then of course you meant I'm not Matt Frazier or something like
Uh,
that. I don't know what it was, but I got a laugh out of that. And then I appreciated again the jabs at me. And then I had a redaction. Oh yeah, I liked when you said incorrectly that Miller Genuine Draft was the champagne of beers or something, and everyone knows it's Miller High Life.
Miller High
That's
Life.
the champagne of
Yes.
beers for
Yes.
your man Mosas.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
couldn't
You're
couldn't
right.
let that go without calling it out. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think you guys did great. It was fun to listen to, and maybe you didn't say it. Holden said it. He was like, "Wow, Steven's really good. He seems like he has done this show a bunch of times." So I agreed. I thought it was very good.
It was
Uh,
good. He was very natural. It was
yeah.
fun.
So I
Well,
do want to
thanks
know though
thanks for the
how
reaction.
yes. So how was did you drink a man mosa with Miller High Life,
I
the
we ended
champagne of
up
beers?
we ended up being PBR, but I did drink a
Okay.
couple of mimosas. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't supply the mimosa supplies, which is good because I would have maybe turned towards MGD, but uh, uh, we had PBR and orange juice, and we did a homegrown turkey trot where it was with a bunch of family and friends
Hmm.
and friends and their families, and so it was maybe like 20 of us or something. We did a nice
Oh
little
wow.
5K, and then finished it up with some manmosas or some beer mosas, whatever you want to call them, if manmosa is not your thing. And it was delicious. It was great. It was a good way to start. It was like honestly the perfect way to start a Thanksgiving. I love a large turkey trot and going to into Asheville to
Hmm.
do that race. I've done that several years, but this one was way more casual with so many kids because we had a bunch of my sister's kids and all this stuff. It was just a great way for everybody to do our own little gobble wobble, as we called it, and
Oh,
the
very
kids
nice.
loved it. We had a good time. Yeah.
Good. Well, that sounds lovely. One thing that you guys didn't get into, I mean, you talked about the man mosas and said maybe that name is yeah, maybe there are better names. I don't know, but no one asked if it was any good. It sounds pretty awful to me. Pouring beer into orange juice or orange juice into beer. Is it actually a good thing?
Oh, have you not
Does it
had one?
taste? Never. I didn't know it existed until you mentioned it. I think I've heard that
Oh,
term before, but I just didn't. I didn't know it
oh,
was
it
a
is
thing.
delicious. Yeah,
Really?
it's really. I mean, it's really easy to go down and refreshing. I mean, it's not something I would like drink at 8 p.m. or something, or go to the
Right.
bar and order. But for what it is, yeah,
But
it's
it
very
works, huh?
tasty.
Okay.
Oh, it works.
I mean, I
I mean,
had
it's just as good as a mimosa in my opinion, maybe even better.
wow. Okay,
Mhm.
that's better than I expected it to sound. Because it just doesn't sound good. But I've had a shandy like where they pour lemonade into a Weizen beer, like a half Weizen
Uh-huh.
with lemonade in it, and that's I think it's half and half, and that's a pretty good drink. So I
Yeah.
guess this isn't all that different from that. And Bianca, the authority on all sorts of cocktails, says that beer mosas are great. Also great with White Claw instead of beer.
Yep.
So
And
you can
Bianca
pour
also
literally
got
any alcohol into orange juice, and it's
it's probably gonna be okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Bianca also PR'd her turkey trot, so that is awesome. Congratulations on that.
Bianca's been putting down the PRs recently. She ran a PR half marathon, I think, in the course of a 20-mile run. She started with the half marathon race, PR'd, and then ran 20 miles, which is insane. So good job, Bianca. Keep it up. Then you keep being the authority on cocktails and all these, I wouldn't say all vegan junk foods, but you put up a decent amount of vegan food that probably not the healthiest. So keep the running going, and then no one can give you crap about it. All right. So what else, Doug? Thanksgiving, all that was good. I saw someone commented they didn't like that my family used canned cranberries on our Thanksgiving dinner, which it's true, but isn't that what everyone does? We've tried making cranberries once, really made them, and it was just fine, but it wasn't worth it. So we went back to canned after that.
Yeah.
And also, this was our week early, not even a real Thanksgiving. We just threw it together. So come on, give me a break.
We actually didn't do canned cranberry or any sort of cranberry sauce except for the cranberry ice, which we discussed.
Right. Yes.
A couple weeks ago or last week. Thanksgiving was great. Yeah, it was a very simple dinner. We did the Abbott's Butcher stuffing. I got to try the Abbott's chicken for the first time, which I thought was absolutely delicious. It was well done, nice texture.
Yeah.
So I would definitely be going back for that. And we did their stuffing. We did I got a report. And I know it's after Thanksgiving, but people buy these loaves for Christmas as well. I had the Whole Foods vegan loaf thing.
Right.
Tofurkey loaf or whatever it's called.
Veg News poo-pooed that one a little bit. Just a little bit.
They did.
This isn't as good as Chloe's or whatever the Chloe brand was.
And it wasn't. I would give it a solid 7 or so. It wasn't bad. Wow. It scratched the itch, I guess, but it was not as good as some of the other ones I've had. So I will not be going back to the Whole Foods branded.
Wow. Okay.
Loaf. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that because Veg News. I was actually just thinking today as I was reading one of their articles. I think it was about IKEA or something. The IKEA vegan options. And I had this thought. I was like, they don't ever say anything's bad that when it's vegan. Like they're pretty much just nice to all vegan brands. But that was like the one thing I've heard them say. This one's not all that tasty compared to some other one. So I had a feeling it wasn't going to be too good.
And they were not wrong. Correct. They were not wrong. You can trust Veg News on their
Did the girls like it still?
They not really. Palettes? They picked at it a little bit, but no. Honestly, it was kind of a bust. That part was kind of a bust. Yeah.
All right.
So don't go with the Whole Foods version. That's my advice.
Okay, we won't. Mine was good. It was the field roast, I think, and it was good. There's Steven. He's here. He's still all right. He got a little sick this weekend, he said. I did not go to hang out with Steven. We had a training get scheduled for Saturday, which really messed up any hope of that. But so it was a bummer. I really need to get over there. I need to see him. I need to see that place, that town, Harlem. But anyway, yes. Hello, Steven. Guten Tag. And I thought I had something else. My Thanksgiving dinner, Doug, was two. I took a picture and sent it home. It was 2 pretzels, 2 Bavarian style twisted pretzels, no mustard or anything, just pretzels on a plate. We got to this.
Why no mustard?
I've had pretzels twice here, and there's never been mustard served with them. I guess it's not a common thing. Maybe sort of. They have mustard here. Mustard is a big thing, and apparently it's very good. But yeah, I think it's just not. Yesterday we were offered butter with our pretzel. And we didn't get it, but I saw someone did, and they just sent out 2 little packs of butter, those little single serve things, and someone just put it on their pretzel and ate it.
How interesting!
But we actually have had some delicious pretzels without any mustard.
Beer.
But anyway, that was just. I've had a few beers, had some Weizens, and some little Pilsner types. German beer is not my favorite beer. I don't think it's a lot of people's favorite beer. It's just so different from American craft beer in many ways. But although the lagers, I guess, are kind of enjoying a little bit of a resurgence in our country. So anyway, yeah, I've had plenty, and it's good. Enough. There's lots of non-alcoholic beer, as expected. All the big brands have that version.
Okay.
So that is cool. And I posted a picture. I think this was on my personal Instagram, Real Matt Frazier, but I did get to a Christmas market and I had some of that Glühwein, which is the mulled red wine. Where
Yep.
they put it with vanilla and cinnamon and a bunch of other things, and probably some sugar because it was sweet, sort
Uh-huh.
of. And it was delicious. We went in a little hut that was like right in the middle of the street in the market. You go, it's like kind of like Oaken's Trading Post kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Uh-huh.
Just go in
Cool.
there, warm Christmas music on the radio, and just drank some Glühwein. So that was nice.
Ah,
And
that
got to hang
sounds
out with
that
some
sounds
Germans.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Hang out with
it
some
very much
Germans.
was. Yeah,
Good.
and yeah, so they all got some sort of meat food from a stand, and we went to Burger King for round 2 of Burger King. I think no, actually that was our third. Holden's gotten a Whopper there several times. This was only my second visit, but I got another one of those long chicken sandwiches, and it did not disappoint. Again, found some vegan advent calendars this morning for like $1 each, so I bought those. Figured
With
I'd
like
bring them
vegan
home.
candies in it.
Yeah, the vegan chocolates.
Oh,
So that's just in the regular supermarket. So I'm telling you, it's just like we've been hearing in the news. It's just more options available here. It seems to be
cool. That's great.
not. Yeah, it is great. It's a really interesting dynamic. Okay, yeah. So speaking of that, one of the articles we have, this one's just a quick one, Doug. Because let's be honest, it was not free. It was paywall protected, so only one of us was able to log in and read it. I guess we could have shared passwords, but we didn't. Oh, Bianca wants to know if I brought back 65 Kit Kats. No, but we haven't gone back yet. We still have another week here, and we do keep looking out for Kit Kats. I found some really good vegan gummies also in the grocery store that just look like the kinds of gummies that would not be vegan. There's tons of like the creamy looking ones, the opaque ones.
Oh yeah.
Even they're vegan. So it's so that's cool. Anyway, what I was saying though is that I found an article in The Athletic today about the German national team, who I went out and watched yesterday on TV playing the World Cup against Spain, about their chef, and he is cooking more and more plant-based meals. He says, which I thought was super interesting. Germany, again, just the country we think of as the meat-loving country, and I would expect that among athletes, where there are still these stereotypes that persist, that athletes can't eat plant-based diets. I would just think in a country like Germany, where we also stereotypically meat-loving, sausage-loving country, I would think their athletes are not going to be into plant-based diets. So much so that when I have talked about it to anyone here, like any coaches, I kind of just downplay it when I talk about Holden's diet. I mean, I say that he is, but I sort of acknowledge like, it's different. Does that work? And people are saying, I've been surprised that people have said like, yeah, like it's sort of been shown they're into the science here. The Germans, the engineering, the precision, they read their science and they think it works, but they think you might need to supplement with some protein and different things. But people have been surprisingly open to it, even in this athletic world. But yeah, their chef is cooking all kinds of plant-based meals, and his philosophy is that it's not so much about removing the meat; it's about adding in lots and lots of vegetables, which forever has been what I said is what I really think was happening when I got way faster and qualified for Boston, and just like things just seemed like they were working. It didn't seem that it was the meat that I cut out this poison. It seemed like that I had just finally started eating fresh and good whole food.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was very good to see that. That's not science; it's someone else saying it. But then I did see that in another article because there's controversy over another soccer player who was vegan, and someone was kind of saying the same thing, that the reason he saw good results at first was what anyone would do if they changed to a healthy whole food sort of diet, whether there's meat or not. If you start eating more vegetables and more fruits, you're going to improve. You're going to have faster recovery. Your levels of lots of vitamins are going to improve. So yeah, I think it's just a cool thing. It's to me, the way I like to spread this message is basically say, start by just eating a whole lot more vegetables. Make it less about meat is wrong, meat is terrible for you. I don't know. I just think it's a good. So I'm just glad to see that kind of message is happening, and that people at this high level of soccer, German national team, are into that.
I am too. That is cool. And it's good. It's good timing with the World Cup for us to be talking about that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, not a ton to add there, but I think it's great.
That's okay. Well, you didn't read it. You didn't get the password, so you
couldn't
have prepared. Another quick World Cup note before we move on from the World Cup, because we don't want to go too much with that. I just read this today in Daily Brew that the U.S. soccer team, who's playing Iran on tomorrow night, I guess for you it's tomorrow afternoon, and if they win, they're through the group stage. They're into the knockout round. So it's a big deal. U.S. soccer apparently this weekend, I think it was this weekend, they briefly displayed the Iranian flag on social media without the emblem of the Islamic Republic. And the point here was to support the women in Iran fighting for basic human rights. Now, I'm in the dark on most news if it's not fake meat related, so I don't know anything about what's going on there. But I was just surprised that happened, because then the Iranian Soccer Federation urged FIFA to expel the U.S. from the World Cup since it had disrespected the country's flag, which, I mean, it almost seems like it's just like sort of hype up for the match, like a fake thing. But I also think it's like the countries are ready to fight each other. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed exciting.
I mean,
added a lot to this.
The U.S. and Iran aren't really friends, so
right, true.
I think that we're kind of even if it's the two soccer teams, poking at each other. There's more to it than just that. And yeah, so I mean, I won't go into details here, but there's been major protests led by women in Iran over the last few months that have been met very brutally by the government. And so I think this is showing solidarity in that, which I think is pretty cool. Honestly, I think that's great.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, this World Cup has a lot of that with it, and I think in some ways a lot of it would be nicer if we could just have soccer and not have to have political stuff happening. But it certainly adds to the drama. And I'm definitely not saying it's wrong to use the stage.
We'll see if he comes back.
It's obviously a judgment call.
In the meantime, let's see.
They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
No.
But when it comes to the actual soccer watching, it actually kind of adds to the experience for me. It seems like it's something actually matters now. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's just rich guys now playing against each other to see who's better and who gets the prize. It just feels like there's something going on. So I don't know. I guess it's a cool thing. Doug, I'm seeing like a circle for you on Instagram. It looks like you're good on the restream though. Oh, and you're saying I'm frozen on Instagram. Okay, so maybe on my end. I don't think I can leave and come back very easily. So maybe we should just continue doing it on restream so that we at least get the podcast recording. Does that seem good?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me on podcast?
No, now I can't. Now I can only hear you. I mean, I can, but I have to turn the volume up.
Okay. I don't know. Is anyone commenting on Instagram?
Mine's frozen completely.
Yeah, no one is commenting for me.
1 sec. All right, well, intermission. Let's see. I can always cut this out of the podcast. I'm gonna try to switch headphones really quick and see if I can get something going. So someone from Facebook, Jyoti and Misty Hayes Turner, say we sound just fine. That's the restream. These other channels will be just fine, which is good. So we'll continue doing the show. I think there. I can't think of any way to fix this other than start a different Olympics morning show. Should I do that, Doug? Should I go out and start a new live show?
Yeah, let's do that. And then you'll just cut all this out of the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, I'm doing that. So then I won't share. We're just going to discard.
Will you let me know when you go live again?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Technical difficulties. This is what you get when you try to do stuff in other countries. Okay. I am now live on Instagram again. Hopefully people will filter in here. Doug, you can look and then join me again. And sorry to everyone who is paying attention here on the other channels while we just sort of try to troubleshoot here. But we will be back in just a minute. Okay, there's Doug. Back in. You're going to do like a dance intro kind of thing, Doug, when we come back in?
All right, we're back.
Okay, we are back. Someone now is saying no audio on Instagram. Hopefully that's not the case, but can you hear me through Instagram, Doug?
Yep, I can hear you through Instagram.
Okay. All right, yep. Good. And I hear you. So it sounds like we're working. All right.
So I missed what you were saying there in response to the protest, but I saw that it was getting picked up on the podcast record. So I don't know if you want to say it all again. But...
No reason to say it again. The gist of it, if anyone missed it, was I just thought that that stuff had been going on in the World Cup was a very political thing this time. I don't mean so much like state versus state politics. I love the Qatar government. It's just been different, and there's that vibe that the stuff that's going on the soccer field and between the teams, some of it is statements about stuff that isn't soccer at all. And it's different. And I don't know if I like it or not. I'm not saying it's wrong, because these are important issues for sure. But I would say, I don't know, and somehow in this one, maybe because it's my team that's so involved, it seems like this actually adds to the drama on the field instead of taking away from it. So,
yeah,
I guess it's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if all the politics in the World Cup is a good thing. I think that it's important, if that makes sense. But I don't know if it ends up being a good thing. I did see some articles over the weekend that Qatari officials are already beginning to regret their $20 billion investment or whatever it was into the World Cup. And that, who knows how true that is? That might just be one guy kind of saying something offhand. But I thought that was kind of interesting. But all right, Matt, I have some World Cup, some research that we need to do. I did a quick Google search right before we went live because I want to know how much non-alcoholic beer people are actually buying within the stadium. We talked about that, how they cut beer sales at the last minute. I saw that Budweiser has pledged to donate all of the alcoholic beer that they have left over from the World Cup to the winning team's country. I don't know what that would look like or what that actually means, but I thought that was pretty funny. But I want to know how much of the non-alcoholic beer that they're selling is actually being sold, and if they're going to run out, because surely they didn't anticipate only being able to sell non-alcoholic beer. So, if anyone can find any article or information on that, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I'd like to know that too. But you're probably right. I'm sure that is probably in short supply. So I bet that's not even that easy to get. I don't really know. But that would be my guess. And like I said, European fans, many of them, I think, are used to drinking non-alcoholic beers at stadiums, so it wouldn't be that strange. Steven says it's €14 a beer. So more Woodstock 99 vibes. I'm getting that there's going to be a last day of fires and Chili Peppers and Limp Bizkit inciting the crowd, and who knows what might happen. Do they have bands playing at these shows? Are there bands?
I don't know.
They should, if they want riots to happen.
Yeah.
All right, on to the news quickly. I guess it's news. Bear Grylls, Doug, says a vegan diet negatively impacted his health. I don't actually know. Yes, it is Bear Grylls. I think I wrote it Grylls on the notes because that's what I've always thought it was in my head. Bear Grylls says vegan diet negatively impacted his health, and here's what he eats now instead. This is from mirror.co.uk. I don't know if this is one of those daily news types that just hates vegan things. I don't really know, obviously, because I didn't say his name right. I don't know what he does. I gather he's a Survivor Man type guy.
Oh, you don't know Bear Grylls, like the original Survivor, like the show that he would drink his own urine to survive and eat scorpions and he was like the get dropped in the most remote places but quote unquote remote. There's all those pictures of him like having to climb down a mountain when there's a road right next to him if you zoom out. But yeah, he was the guy who kind of started that whole thing as the survivalist.
Okay,
I was honestly very
Michael
surprised.
Scott.
Yeah,
that one episode of The Office where Dwight Schrute is there the whole time. Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that. It's news to me that he was ever vegan, just because of what he would eat on those shows. But
okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. I just thought Survivor type guy to me seems like someone who wouldn't be into a vegan diet. But you're right. If he's eating animals and things to survive, then certainly not. Apparently, he wrote a book about it. He says, and I googled that and found it, and it was a book about juicing and stuff. And so anyway, the article goes on. It's him saying that when he got COVID a couple years ago, he doubled down on what he thought was healthy, and he says raw juice, vegetables, and got mega sore kidneys, almost kidney stones. So I don't know enough about kidneys to know if you're not treating your kidneys well, they just kind of get sore. I've never heard that before in my life, but maybe you can, or maybe it was an actual condition of some kind. Who knows? But he did more research after that, and then noticed now that raw vegetables are really not good for you. So that is mostly the gist of the story. The article then goes on and talks about how some raw vegetables get better when cooked. I've read so many articles in the past 3 months since we've done the show that tell you how some raw vegetables get better when cooked and some actually get less nutritious when they're cooked. It's just weird. It's just weird that so many of these eventually go into are raw vegetables good for you when the headline is about a vegan diet. So it's not really a useful article because then it just becomes a debate about raw food.
Mhm.
But that's the version of vegan diet he was doing. And I guess, I mean, I don't totally disagree that if you just eat a ton of raw vegetables, especially if you're not, well, I shouldn't say if you're not used to it, because he probably was. He did it for a long time.
Yeah.
I do wonder if all you eat is raw vegetables, or that's almost everything you eat. It seems like our digestive systems have evolved to eat some cooked food now. And if you're only eating raw food, maybe you're not going to get as much nutrition as you could,
Mhm.
just because of the amount of fiber and how long it takes to eat it to begin with. So I don't think that's totally ridiculous. It's just crazy that this is that they generalize and that this is what a vegan diet is.
Right.
This raw vegan
Right.
diet.
I mean, it does sound like he juiced a lot, so maybe his diet. But I mean, like we talked about before, the vegan diet requires a bit more, or any diet requires particular care and making sure that you're getting everything you need. The vegan diet maybe doesn't require more, but maybe it requires slightly different care in understanding what nutrients are hard to get on a plant-based diet, and making sure that you're getting those. A raw vegan diet, even more so, I would say. So I just who knows how well balanced his diet was. Who knows what his diet actually looked like.
Right.
And
Who knows?
if you were malnourished, then sure, eating meat or liver would probably make you feel better. So who knows? I
Yeah.
do appreciate, at the bottom it says, what causes kidney stones, and none of them has anything to do with diet. It's dehydration, or what causes kidney pain. It's dehydration, kidney stones, urinary tract infection, or actual injury to the kidney. So maybe the fact that he was drinking his own urine to survive that.
That Yeah, I guess that's part of a vegan diet. Does that count? I guess if you willingly give up your own urine to
Yeah, I
yourself,
guess. I
then it
don't know.
counts. Yeah, and I guess kidney stones can be formed from calcium oxalate. So there are certain foods that if in raw vegetables, or certain raw vegetables would contribute if you ate tons of them to kidney stones, I think. But he didn't even have kidney stones, so I don't know. Yeah, just a weird thing, and I don't know. It just, I mean, whatever. It's one of these articles that take it for what it is.
Here's
He now eats meat, eggs, and dairy, a lot of butter and fruit. And grass-fed steak and liver. Interesting to me, irony that like the survival guy, that he wouldn't think about like long-term survival, because that may certainly make you feel better in the short term. I understand that like I said, switching to any diet kind of can improve how you're feeling in the short term. That's one of the criticisms with Hector Bellerin, this Spanish footballer who's vegan. They were saying he just, any diet switch, especially one that involves whole foods, is probably going to make you feel better for a while.
Yeah.
But there's nobody saying this. I don't think that this carnivore diet is the longevity diet. Maybe they are. I don't know much about it, but
we need to do a whole episode on the carnivore diet here pretty soon, and its popularity on Instagram. I don't know. Somehow my algorithm has gotten, probably because I would Michael, our colleague, and I share Liver King posts a lot. Because they're so funny, and so now like my algorithm comes up with a whole bunch of carnivore diet people, and it's just absurd what people are eating. It's crazy. But all right, here's my the first line of this article it should be the headline to me. A whopping 63.5% of Brits bought vegan food last year. It's just so funny to me. Like, I hate this. This, I mean, I hate this idea that vegan food is only the processed vegan food or something like that, and not.
Right.
I mean, every single person, 100% of people have purchased who have bought groceries have bought vegan food in the last
right.
year.
Even the carnivore diet people have bought vegan food, I think.
Absolutely.
Right. If you buy a banana, you just bought a vegan food. Yeah, it's crazy. There are a lot of these statistics that you don't know where they come from, and they're just strange. I saw one today. I didn't choose it, but it was that a third of Brits would not mind a plant-based Christmas dinner. They were open to a plant-based dinner this year.
Oh, that's
and
good.
Yeah, but then I couldn't tell if it meant one thing on the table could be plant-based and they'd be okay with it, or if it was the whole thing. Details were not given, so I don't know.
Okay,
All right. So that's Bear Grylls, not Bear Grylls, as I called him. That's his deal. And the other story we've got today, just one more, if I can find it. Sorry, I got all discombobulated with the tech issues. Oh yeah, this is a good one. This is from the news.liverpool.ac.uk. So I don't know.
The University of Liverpool.
University of Liverpool. Okay. Liverpool Stevens soccer team. So maybe he's here. The article is Cooking in Caves. Research reveals sophisticated prehistoric culinary habits. And the gist of it is that they found some really old food, some of the oldest food remains ever, 70,000 years ago. I guess that's when Neanderthals lived. By the way, Neanderthal is pronounced tall. You know that, not thal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's the
Neandro
pronunciation I've heard people say
Neanderthal.
recently. Yeah, Neanderthal. Uh, anyway, they found this food. They looked at it. They analyzed it, and somehow determined that it is a whole lot of plant food. That it is not a paleo diet that everyone thinks. There were bread-like items. Sorry, went out for a second there. There were bread-like items resembling flatbread. There were a lot of plant seeds. There were pulses, which I think are more or less beans. Am I correct about that, Doug?
Ooh, good question. I don't know.
I just assumed they were beans. I've heard it a bunch before, but I forgot. Yeah. So I mean, and no mention of meat. It did. I don't think it even said anything about that. There was any evidence of eating meat. I'm sure they did eat meat. I'm not trying to make that argument. But they probably ate like the diet we're talking about at the beginning of this show. Lots of plants, some meat. Ends up being a pretty healthy diet.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how long the Neanderthals lived. And I think eventually they did sort of go extinct, right? Like that line eventually stopped.
Uh-huh.
And they were thought to be dumb, right? Isn't that kind of the Neanderthal joke?
Oh, I mean, I think that like they just have
Relatively
evolved
speaking,
into
yeah. Well, I don't know.
relatively
I think they
thinking.
weren't as
They
smart.
weren't the enlightened species like you and I. So,
Right.
um,
True. Yeah. So
yeah,
anyway,
pulses are legumes.
okay, and that was the most common ingredient identified in this thing. If you go to the actual article, this is Liverpool, University of Liverpool, Neanderthal cooking in caves. Look that up. You'll see it. The picture of the food remains looks a lot like that 3D printed steak we've been talking about. Did you notice that? You can see the fibers in the rock. It looks just like
Yeah.
that
Oh,
thing that
yeah,
they're
you're
serving
right.
in the New York Italian restaurant.
That's that's funny. So this is fascinating for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, I think it just kind of bucks the notion that that the paleo people, Neanderthals, were just eating meat all the time, which I don't know if people really believe that, or if that's just kind of the
Oh, I think
evolution of
some
the
do.
paleo.
I think some believe that.
Um,
Not scientists, right? The people who've been marketed the paleo diet.
Yeah, right. And so that is interesting to me. But the other thing, I think a strict paleo diet does not allow any legumes at all. And so the fact that there
Right.
are these, they're finding lots of the pulses like lentils,
Yep.
and wild mustard. I think that's pretty big, right? I mean that would go on to
think
say
so.
that maybe they're not following a paleo diet at all.
No, I don't think they're eating a paleo diet for sure. Yeah, pulse-rich food with wild pea, I guess was one of it. And the bread-like bread. I mean, I don't know what the bread's made out of, but grains are a no-no on the paleo diet. Maybe they
Right?
made it from seeds, and it was some sort of gluten-free bread. I'm sure it was probably gluten-free, but maybe not grain-free. I don't know. They don't go into those details. But yeah, I mean, this has been for the longest time. Like as long as paleo's been around, people come to us and say, "What about the paleo diet?" And then we or people like us say, the paleo diet wasn't really what is being marketed to you as the paleo diet. It's they ate lots of stuff, and there was evidence before now that there were things where they were finding barley. There was evidence in the teeth or whatever of the Paleolithic people they had found that they were having barley and other kind of seeds and things like that. Although I think barley contains gluten. I don't think it's the same as wheat though. But anyway, this is no surprise. I just think maybe the extent to which they found those foods here is the interesting thing. So I'm glad. I mean, it's always good that when these kind of articles resurface. I shouldn't say resurface. This is new stuff. I think it was just recently that this came out. But yeah, good when the mainstream gets this message. I don't think it's gonna make any difference. Nobody's gonna care. They're still gonna just do what they're gonna want to do. But yeah, I mean, no, honestly, not a surprise. But
No,
that's
but happy to see.
yes, exactly.
Mhm.
All right. Good. I think that's it, Doug. That's all we've got for today. These continue to be just sort of strange shows with me away. We're not in the rhythm of the normal headlines, but we'll keep it going for the rest of this week. Hopefully we'll get some times around this time several times this week because I like this one. Seems like people are around. So yeah, we will keep doing them, and got about another week till I'm back home and back in the home studio doing these the real way. Hopefully without tech issues then. Hopefully we can avoid those the rest of the week.
I hope so. Speaking of the rest of the week, the compliments Feel Good Black Friday sale ends tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Today's Monday. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. It is up to 30% off site-wide, 25% off all products, 30% off all bundles. And we this is kind of cool. So for every product sold, we were donating a plant-based meal through Food for Life Global to a kid in need around the world. And we're at like 5,200 meals as of this morning, which is incredible that this community is feeding so many people. So go check out lovecompliment.com before Tuesday at 4 p.m. and take advantage of those discounts.
Yeah, well, that is amazing. I saw the 3,000 number a couple days ago, and I was very excited about that. And our CEO, Matt Tolman, put that in perspective today in a note to our team and said that, yes, just one meal that 3,000 people get, 3,000 kids. But if you think about it another way, and I haven't checked his math, but he said that's 3 meals a day for a whole year for 3 kids, which to me, that sounds like a very serious difference to be made. And it's through Food for Life. So this is not just our crazy accounting here. It's a legit organization doing this. So anyway, very, very cool thing. And that happens for every product sold. I thought for a second there, Doug, you were going to double it. It was like a Billy Mays situation. And you were going to say, we've been donating a meal, but now during these last 24 hours, we're going to go ahead and double it. We're going to donate 2 or 5 meals for every product sold. We're not doing that.
We did that. We did that for Thanksgiving. So
we already did that. Okay.
We already did that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we should do it. You can announce it now. You got authority. You can you can make this
10 meals for every. No, we're not doing 10 meals. Just one meal for every product sold. But yes, very exciting. Feel good. So good.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Then
thanks everybody.
I've got to go off to the next practice. Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Unknown when that time will be.
Thanks for hanging out.
Tomorrow's time's going to be tricky.
Tech difficulties.
Yes. Tomorrow's time's going to be an extreme hour, just so everyone's aware. I don't know if it's going to be very early or very late, but it's
oh boy,
it's one of those days. Yeah, it's going to be. I don't know.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.